Kris.
And I'm Wyatt Elliott from Notebook Entertainment.
And we're watching Review This.
That was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
It stinks.
So today we're talking about Slotherhouse.
Slotherhouse rules.
Slotherhouse. So our director is Matthew Goodhue, who also did a film called Whoa in 2020. If anyone's seen it, let us know in the comments whether we should watch it and review it. I don't know. Also, a short he did called Dames 2018. So this is his third out as a director. Okay. The writers are Katie Lanigan and Bradley Fowler, both of whom are in the movie. Katie plays Morgan, who's one of the sorority girls, and Bradley plays the paramedic that comes after the sloth throws the phone.
When that guy in that scene, I'm like, that's somebody behind the scenes. I thought maybe it was the director, because that was the perfect role for a cameo. Yeah, there's a scene, because we're not going to go through the, point-by-point plot, but there is a scene where the sloth... There's a plot. There's a plot. Where the sloth picks the phone out of the girl's pocket, throws it in the road, so when she goes to retrieve it, she gets hit by a car. This is the movie we're talking about today, guys. I'm very excited about it. Right. It is very entertaining.
And so, anyway, that girl gets hit by the car. The paramedic that comes to get her, one of the writers of the movie.
Fair.
Right. All right, so we're going to go through, and I'm going to say that this whole thing is a spoiler because I don't know that there's a way to talk about this without just spoiling everything.
It's a movie about a killer sloth.
Right.
Go
see it.
Right. If it's playing in your town, I would recommend it. We lucked out and got to see it at AMC, nice big screen. There
was only 3 other people in the theater with us. We had to go out of town for it because it wasn't even showing at the theaters near us. So.
We saw a trailer for a movie that...
we are going to talk about on the news, guys. I'm very excited. Mm-hmm. Okay. So anyway, besides all that, we'll start with what we liked about the movie, the good. We'll go into what we didn't like about the movie, the bad. We'll talk about references to other movies that we caught, because there's a lot of them, and I know there's more than we caught, but there's a lot of them. And then we'll end with our overall thoughts. So starting with the good... The puppet.
Puppet was great.
I want that puppet so much.
I was worried it was going to look like one of those. Do you remember those old monkey puppets? You put the arms around and it squeaked.
I had several.
And it's similar to that, but the facial expressions on it and the way that they moved him, I thought it was good. I noticed there was 6 puppeteers in the credits.
What it was and for what their budget probably was, I think it was a great puppet. I want it so much. Yeah. The whole time I was just going, oh.
I feel like the majority of their budget went into this puppet.
Right. I love sloths
which is
so
fair.
much.
You don't have a movie without this puppet,
right.
So.
So I like that Alpha, which is what they named the sloth.
Yeah.
I like that Alpha can drive and text and take selfies. I love all of that.
Yeah.
I love it.
One of my favorite parts, and they don't show it all of it until the end, but the sloth takes a selfie with their victim which I think is brilliant. I'm surprised Scream never did that, you know? And then they could have found it on his phone.
Exactly.
Man,
good
stuff.
Loved it.
Yes.
Loved it. I don't care. The further away they got from what a sloth actually acts like, the more I loved it.
Because this sloth does teleport. I promise you he does.
Yeah, it's very Michael Myers, which is, there's quite a few Halloween references.
Which is probably what they're spoofing, I'm guessing, too, because they teleport sometimes.
Yeah, Michael Myers teleports all over that fucking timeline in Halloween.
He does.
I also really like the character of Brianna. She's played by Sydney Craven. She's the mean bitchy girl. She's mean, she's selfish, but she's so good at being a bitch that I loved her.
Yeah.
She gave such good bitch face.
She had really good bitch face.
I loved her.
Her face was great.
I also personally found it hilarious that, so the sloth is one by one killing all these girls, and you see pop-ups of screen grabs where people are like, hey, have you seen this girl? Hey, have anyone seen this? And I love that these girls are disappearing probably over the course of a week, and no one thinks to go check for them in their rooms, because that's where their bodies are all found at the end when they're doing the corpse reveal.
There's not look, there's a lot of logic in this movie.
But what I love about it is it gives this detail of how selfishly self-absorbed all of these girls are. That their friends are missing, and they don't even think, maybe I should go knock on her door and see if she's okay. Like, they know enough to post on social media that their friend's missing, but don't actually go look for her or anything, like, in her room. Well, like, I love that little detail. I really did.
Yeah. No, I did too, but, like, you know, like, I also love the detail of the text. Every time you introduce a new character, they showed, like, their profile. They'll pop up next to them. They have a little saying on it, what they like, and
honestly,
I thought that was entertaining.
I think as we go on in movies and stuff, because so much conversation in real life does take place over texting and stuff nowadays, that more and more movies, they already are, but they're going to keep we're going to keep getting those screen grabs, and we're going to start seeing more conversations instead of people talking to each other.
Yeah.
The plot's going to be taking place on the phones.
Yep, agreed.
So they're embracing the future. And I loved it all. I loved all the little pop-ups.
Absolutely. I loved
little catty comments that were on them. Like,
I also love...
I want to watch it again so I can catch all the ones I didn't get to read because they were too fast.
Yes, there was some of those too fast.
I want to be able to pause it.
And I love the fact that the sloth not only knew how to drive and all this stuff on phones, but knew how to log on to the internet, use the internet, recognize a person in a picture on the internet because he accidentally went to her social media and saw that she was with his... the person that stole him or whatever, or
was mean to him. That guy had it coming.
Yeah, he did.
That guy had it coming.
But there's another like. I do like how they explain how she got the sloth. Yeah. It wasn't...
She stole that bitch.
But it kind of made sense, though, in a really stupid kind of way, where it's like, I want it for views and to get, clicks. The motivation was understandable. It wasn't like, there's a sloth. It was
understandable for that character. Like, if you're not a person who's been seeking clout and popularity, like, and this is what one of my points in the bad, this character is horrible. Like, I don't relate to the main character at all.
No, I'm not saying that anybody should relate to her.
But they gave her a logical explanation for why she would take this poor sloth.
That's what I'm trying to say. It made sense to me that's why she would want this sloth.
Right. Ugh. Yeah, you tell him, Molly. So also, like, I don't know if I like the scenes or not, but like, what the hell is Greek life? Like, when I was in college, I went to parties on Greek Row, but I never was really friends with anyone in a frat or sorority, and I definitely didn't even try to join. Like, not my thing. So I, like, between this movie and movies like Animal House, like, it's a cult. It's what is it?
It's the skulls, I think, because that's what this made it more like.
Yeah, it felt way more like Skull and Bones. But even in Animal House, when Kevin Bacon's getting spanked, like they're all in robes with candles and stuff everywhere.
I have no experience with any of that, so all thing I can draw from are movies, and movies make it look like a cult. So apparently that's
like, if you were in a frat or sorority, tell us, like, is it a cult? What do you guys do that? Is there spankings? Is there like robes? Like, what is this?
The hazing I know is.
I know hazing's a thing. Yeah. But like, Jesus, the underground, like.
But yeah, it does kind of make you
ceremonies and stuff at midnight.
Because it does kind of make you wonder, like for instance, a movie like this that's kind of almost a parody. Like, you would want to portray the sorority as cliche as possible. Exactly. But so it makes you wonder if this is based on old traditions, or are they still doing them to this day?
Or were some of the writers like in a frat and they're like, I need to get this off my chest.
Well, see, that you got to write about what you know. So,
right, because I know that like house mothers are a thing, that they have an older woman that lives with them to like.
I mean, the house bunny there was one.
Well, Anna Faris is awesome. So yeah, I don't know whether or not I like the Greek life, so I put it in the like because it amused me. Yeah. But like, what is Greek life? I'm kind of really glad I didn't even try to participate. So I also really liked one of the death scenes. It was one of film's longer death scenes, Mrs. Mayflower.
Yes, that was amazing.
She's
Spoiler
played,
alert, but God's mother dies.
Yeah, but Miss Mayweather is played by Tiff Stevenson. And it gave me like Paul Rubens at the end of Buffy.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, it was so funny though.
She kept like shut up so I could get this out. Like, it was so good.
It was so funny.
And then she like died at one point and she just came back.
She
did fantastic. I liked her a lot. And then the other thing I really liked was the messaging of this movie, which is just leave exotic animals the fuck where they're supposed to be.
Right.
And maybe, like, help protect their environment so they don't get displaced and shit.
Great. It's kind of interesting. In a weird way, Slotherhouse and Nope are saying the same message. Don't exploit these wild animals.
Different ways. Right. So yeah, it was a lot to love in this movie. It made me laugh out loud quite a few times.
But it's not perfect.
No, it's not perfect. So, excuse me. So here's where the bad is. It is PG-13. There is absolutely no gore and very little blood. Like, very little.
To the point that she even noticed they only had one makeup artist.
Right. Yeah, we're watching the credits. I'm like, okay, makeup they had like 4 makeup artists for like regular makeup and stuff. Effects. But the special effects makeup, I think it was one lady.
And that's because the majority of it is a little bit of blood coming out of the mouth.
Just pour on a little bit on the chest. Like, they don't show the claws really going in or anything. Like, that's what I wanted. I wanted face ripping.
This movie is almost YouTube safe. Like, that's how bare bones it is. That's what it looks like. Now, here's the big problem, I think. We went into this movie we expected an R rating. We didn't look
I didn't look it up. I was very disappointed.
So so when the first death happened off screen,
I was like, uh-oh.
And she even said, I hope this, and I said, no, that's just the first one. They're going to build up to it. And the second one was off screen. And then the third one, oh my God.
I was like, oh no.
So I don't know if they actually shot it and then it got cut and then there'll be a director's cut. Or...
Because I wanted fucking faces ripped off. I wanted gouging through chests.
That's what I'm thinking. In my opinion, I don't think
even Indiana Jones got to pull hearts out of chests.
Yeah,
Jesus.
In my opinion, I don't think anybody would go into production of a slasher movie not prepared to shoot gore.
Right.
So my guess is the distributor decided to cut it out to get as much audience as they could.
Like, even horror comedies have blood and gore. Like, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies did it fantastic.
And the thing is here's the other problem is, okay, so you're going to cut
it. Just be R-rated.
You're going to cut it for kids, but then you're going to release it when school goes back into session and release it on a Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m.
Like, that was the only showing we could go to.
So, yeah, there wasn't any kids in our screening either.
This movie was not supposed to be for kids, so I don't understand why it was shot for kids when the people that would embrace it, the horror people who love this kind of B-movie bullshit, bought that blood and gore.
If this movie would have even had... And it could have been terrible, honestly. Right. But just show us some of the kills.
Like, would have saved it.
It would have it just would have made it better. I'm not asking for Terrifier gore for the movie. But just show the claw. Just show the claws going into the stomach, going into the face.
Right, because he stabs people, and you see it a little bit, but not really. It's not satisfying at all.
It's not satisfying, exactly.
So then I touched on this a little earlier. The other thing I don't like is the main character, Emily, who's played by Lisa Ambalavinar. Sorry. I think she sucks, and I was kind of hoping for her to die. This girl's only sole motivation, to the point of her detriment, where she pisses off her best friend and her boyfriend is jealous, is that she wants to be president of her sorority and be popular. That's her only goal in life. And I'm like, who roots for somebody like that? Like, I don't care about you at all. I hope you fail. Emily's best friend even tells her throughout the whole movie, like, it's not right that you have this animal. This animal needs to go back to where it came from. Like, she's the one who's the voice of reason.
She's the voice of reason in the entire movie.
Yeah, the only one who's trying to help this sloth the whole time. And the sloth not only, because it's her phone that the sloth, we mentioned in the beginning, where the sloth throws the phone in so she gets hit by the car, which was planned. The sloth planned it. Alpha had plans.
It was not an accident.
Right. So she not only gets hit by a car, but she survives, gets in the hospital, and the sloth uses a computer to track her down. Or no, uses her phone. Uses her phone, Emily's phone, to see the GPS where she had been, and follows the GPS back to the hospital, and like hides under the bed, and then like pulls her breathing mask off so that she's just sitting there wheezing in terror, had tied her down to the bed, and then puts a pillow over her face. And I'm like, why is the best girl in this movie, the only one who's tried to help the sloth, getting the worst death? Like, spoiler alert, she does not die.
Yeah, that was surprising.
She comes back at the end to shoot a bitch.
Yeah, and I also felt like the boyfriend was just such a throwaway character in this. And then he dies. I swear he died, and then he's back again.
Yeah. He got stabbed, but then there was like no evidence. I don't even remember seeing blood on him.
No, there was no blood. He wasn't like nothing. Just, I'm fine.
Right. And then he's the one who delivers the line, but it's like, it's meant to be terrible because even the girl's like, oh, but he's like, you can't go back in there. It's a Slotherhouse. Right. And I died.
Yeah.
I was like, that's all.
It was so forced that they got that name in there.
I died.
But it was funny.
God, I love B-movies.
Because I think it was self-aware, and that's why it was funny.
That's why.
It wasn't like they were trying to pass it off as a cool line. It was self-aware.
Yeah, because the girls were like, oh, dude, no.
Yeah, no.
Don't say that. That was bad.
And he's like, no.
He's like, no.
That's like the one good thing you did.
Right.
And I think he's like the only dude in this movie, isn't he?
Really? Yeah, for the most part. I mean, there's the creepy guy at the beginning, Oliver, I think his name was, that stole the sloth, or was responsible for
him, yeah.
Yeah, the movie, by the way, opens with the sloth, because she's not alpha yet, but the sloth in her natural environment or whatever in the jungle, and like she's hanging from a branch and she's slowly and I'm just like, oh, this puppet's adorable. And then, boom, fucking alligator or crocodile, whichever one lives in the jungle, fucking jumps up, pulls her back. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and then you see all the blood coming up, and it's like, oh,
I'm like, nope, don't like happened? That. And then suddenly the sloth is climbing out of the fucking water, and they go back to the water, and you see the alligator come up and then slowly flip over, gash marks. That was the gore.
I couldn't tell for sure, but some of the crocodile effects look like they might have been CG, but pretty decent.
Yeah, because at the end there's a crocodile.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that their budget went into a little bit of that and the puppet. But again, you don't have a good puppet, you don't have a movie, so
exactly. So one of the other things I didn't like was another character. This one's name was Zenny, played by Bianca Reckles Rose, and this character was such a horrible caricature of a stereotype.
Yeah.
And I looked it up. Because this girl speaks with a very deep, like, manly voice.
But it sounds fake.
Right. Yeah. And so I looked it up. I looked up her doing interviews and stuff to see what her real voice was. It is not that deep. She is British. Okay. So I don't know if maybe her doing American accent makes her lower her voice. Yeah. But I have a feeling they were like, be as butch lesbian as you can be. I hated her every time.
It's so cartoonish.
Yep.
It doesn't come across as a real. Because a lot of the characters are exaggerations, so I guess that's their defense. But like this felt like you took a straight woman and was like, okay, play as gay as you can.
Yeah, I don't know if she's gay in real life or not.
I'm not. Yeah, but this is what it felt like. To me. It felt like somebody who had no idea how to do it. And this was her interpretation of trying to be. And I felt like it was the director's. I don't think this would be a natural choice.
No.
This would be somebody telling you, no, like, lower your voice
more. She
was
seriously talking like this the whole time.
It felt like an SNL skit.
Right.
Like
a bad
SNL skit when they're trying to do voices and not
it made me angry. Like, it was making me mad because I have so many friends that are kind of butch lesbians and they don't. It's so ridiculous. They don't talk. Oh, well, I gotta talk down here like this.
Yeah,
they just use their normal voice.
I hated it, and then they never even really said what she was.
Yeah, they hint that because she likes that all the girls go to the shower. That's her favorite thing that they do.
That's probably the most.
There's all kinds of little hints dropped there, but they never come out and say that she's a lesbian either.
It felt like when stupid people try to show representation.
Right.
So, like, as if they were like, oh, okay, well, we'll write a gay character in here, but then they just went about it the absolute worst possible way.
Right. It's on the same level as if you've got a gay guy character, and he talks like this, and he's like, yes, some gay men do talk like that, but that is not the whole gay men. Like,
exactly. It is,
That's what it felt like. It was the opposite of that. Where now you've got a girl who's like, well, you've got to set her aside from the girly girls, so she talks like this.
I think it's an embarrassing.
Which I can't even get my voice as low as she was doing.
I think it's an embarrassing performance. Like, I don't know.
I hated this character.
Mm-hmm. It was, like I said, there was nothing about her that seemed real at all. And then, like, she kind of died off screen, and then she came back, and it was just...
she was the only one not electrocuted in the shower somehow.
I don't know. It was just ridiculous.
I did not like her at all.
But, when I say that this movie is YouTube-friendly, I don't remember any swears in it.
Not a lot.
I don't. I don't remember. There's no nudity, which is whatever. There's no violence. The violence is all off screen. You know, like, I swear this movie was like, okay, we may have to put it on YouTube, guys.
Yeah, I don't know who their intended audience is for this. Because, like I said, the only showing we were able to get was 8:30 at night on a Wednesday. Yeah. So,
and I think
people aren't bringing their kids to that.
No, yeah.
It takes place at a sorority. Teens and kids don't care about that. You know, like...
Yeah, I don't know why there was
it should have been marketed to adult horror fans and just give it that R rating.
Adult B-movie horror fans, because the ones you're going to want to appeal to are the ones you're going to want to watch.
Cocaine
Bear.
You know, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yep. That's
the Grinch one. You're a mean one.
That's what I thought we were going to see, was like Winnie the Pooh, but it just wasn't. And I think that's a failure mistake. Hope they fix it in the digital release. Yeah. If there's the footage.
If there's a way. If they did not shoot it that way, then don't go CGI. Please don't.
Yeah, just let
That'll
it go.
Ruin it. It should have been practical effects from the start. If you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
Yeah, if you didn't do it, you didn't do it.
The movie is what it is.
Yeah.
The last thing I really hate is the ambiguousness of the ending, because even I had to explain it to him, but even explaining to him, I'm like, well, they didn't really make it clear. So the ending... it seems like she's killed the sloth. She's jammed a tiara down in its head.
Right.
She shot it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Alpha's been stabbed at this point.
Yep.
And it looks like, as she's standing there to go for the final tap, it looks like Alpha's dead. I don't see her breathing anymore, because you do see the puppet breathe.
And she speaks. She speaks, and the very last thing she says, go home
or something, because she's looking at a picture of the jungle. No. And so it cuts to them bullshitting, whatever. And then the very end of the movie, we're back in the jungle, and there's this like tour guide who's taking a bunch of rich assholes around to show them animals, and there's the sloth there, and we'll explain more about that in a minute. But the sloth is there, and my thought was, they found a way to get her home. And then I was like, that kid's dead. But then at the end, he thought it was a completely different sloth.
Yeah, that was my impression of it, was that
So Alpha now I don't know.
So yeah, my impression was Alpha died, and this is just another sloth in the jungle that might also...
Kill people.
That was...
So yeah, they did not make it clear enough, I think, that Alpha survived.
Yeah, because how did she... Yeah... I guess, but she did have a sympathetic look to the sloth when she said home.
Right, and their end thing for the girls is that they've started this new organization that's going to get animals, or protect exotic animals from being exploited and stuff. So that's their arc. So that makes me think that they scooped her up, took her, got her fixed, and sent her back somehow.
Which makes more sense for the ending, because it would just be another random sloth.
But it is not clear at all. So he can be completely forgiven for thinking that was a completely different sloth, because now I'm not sure.
Yeah, fair.
So yeah, I really wish they had made it more clear that if we're still following Alpha, especially if they plan to make sequels and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, are we following Alpha?
Right. And it could be that they didn't make it clear because they're not sure which direction to go. You know, maybe it's going to be Alpha Junior. Like,
or maybe
I don't know.
all sloths are murdered.
Deadly, right. I don't know.
Although, I mean, other than the alligator, she only murdered that guy because he was being mean while she was in the cage. Well, exactly. Like, he was throwing stuff at her. I'd have killed that guy, too.
That was the thing. The sloth wasn't murdering people just to murder people. The sloth, by going through her social media, saw that she was... Because she took a selfie for some reason with the guy that she got the sloth from, who was a poacher, basically. Right. But he didn't kill them.
That must be a Gen Z thing to, like, just take selfies with random strangers you meet throughout the day. Because she did that. Like, they were all like, selfie, stop for selfie. And I'm like, okay, I get it with your friends, but, like, this dude?
I mean, I see people on YouTube do it, but I figure they did it for that's their channel. That's what they do, but I don't know.
Well, she was trying to chase clout.
Yeah, so anyway, she took a picture with him. He found the picture on her social media, and he connected the she connected the dots and determined that all of her friends now had to die because they were all a part of this.
They must all be a part of this. Because while she's smart, she's not reasoning smart.
Right,
so, like, exactly. She can drive a car, but she can't think, well, maybe not all of these girls had to do with this guy being mean to me.
She just can you drive a car, use phones, use the internet.
Right. I mean, that other girl had it coming, too, because she is the one who, like, put her out in the rain and, tried to abandon her.
I think they were intentionally trying to make them all horrible people. And then the ending, like you said, when they start the organization, is supposed to be their arc for all of them. And they're all...
Yeah, so just less ambiguous of an ending, I guess. So we know which sloth we're looking at.
Right.
But yeah, the ending is they're all, I do like it because it leaves it open like that girl's gonna get fucking murdered. But there's this bored little girl in the tour that they're giving in the jungle, and she's like on her phone or whatever, and she's just walking as this like crocodile's swimming up to like chomp her, and the tour guide's like, "Hey!" and she looks up and she's like, "What?" and he's like, "There's deadly things in the jungle."
Right.
And so the crocodile, he's like, "Don't move," or whatever, and the crocodile swims away. And so she's like, "Well, like, what else is in the jungle that could kill me," or whatever. That, and she points, and it's a sloth. And this girl's probably like 12, 13.
Right.
And there's a sloth. So, of course, she goes to take a selfie with it. You see the sloth in the background of the picture. And I'm like, and that's how it ends. And I'm like, that girl's getting murdered.
Yeah, that's what they set it up for.
Stay through the credits if you like sloth memes. I do.
There was a lot of some of them were like, I've seen that GIF.
Yep. It's like, I've used that.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so let's move on to references from other movies, because there's a lot. And like I said, we didn't even catch it all. That's why I would like to see it again, to catch all of that stuff and to be able to like pause it so I can read all the funny stuff.
The movie has potential of rewatchability.
Yes.
And hopefully
it was a fun overall watch.
So that's why I'm hoping they do add the gore, so that way we'll want to watch it.
Exactly. So references, obviously the title. I know everyone automatically thinks Slotherhouse 5 from Kurt Vonnegut, but I think it might be, since they're trying to honor horror movies, and Slotherhouse 5 is not anything to do with horror, despite the title. It might supposed to be a play on Slotherhouse, which was a 1987 movie, kind of a B movie. Guy owns a slaughterhouse. He's being forced to sell it, doesn't want to sell it. And then people come to like buy it, and he has his son start killing them all, because I think his son is like a big dumb guy.
I'll bet it is an homage to that, but it also just makes sense because it's a sloth and a house.
Yeah.
You know, how like the house.
But with them purposely putting so many references to other things in there, I think
I'm
that
sure
it's on purpose.
Whoever made this, or at least wrote it, or horror fans, for sure.
Oh, for sure. And I didn't get to read it, but I did see they did an interview, or the director maybe did an interview with Bloody Disgusting, and I was going to read that for the news.
Okay.
But I haven't gotten to read it yet, so. There's also, throughout the whole movie, there's elements and calls kind of to Black Christmas. More than just because they're in a sorority house. There's all kinds of little things that I picked up that in my head I was like, that reminds me of Black Christmas, you know?
Yeah.
Then there's definitely Halloween.
Right, of course.
The teleporting everywhere is very much something that Michael Myers does inexplicably. And then also when at some point Sloth gets thrown out the window, laying on the ground, they all, she's like, "Come out, he's dead," and she turns around, looks, gone, only a pile of glass. I'm like, ah! Yeah. I was like, that's Halloween.
The only thing missing was the cue of the music,
right. So yeah, definitely. There's a lot. I caught a couple other, I can't come up with them now, but I remember thinking there was a specific thing to H2O, but I can't remember what it was now. It's going to drive me crazy. But.
I believe there was a POV shot, which is a classic Michael Myers thing.
Yeah.
The fact that he walks slow and they're running around, that's a typical Jason.
He doesn't really move slow, though, because when you see him crawling a little, or see her crawling a little bit, like she does.
It was very inconsistent.
Yeah, it was very inconsistent.
Her movements are slow, but then when she wants to, it's bam, and she kills you. So it's very inconsistent. But
there's also Chucky. Brianna specifically says Alpha is like an adorable Chucky, which I think Chucky's adorable anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, but yeah, you also do get the Chucky feel, because like you said, the POV shots are lower, so you are getting them from her point of view.
Her perspective, yeah.
And so it does kind of feel like Chucky running around.
Sometimes, yeah, absolutely.
There's a little bit of The Shining when Alpha's busting through the door and her face is there, and you kind of get a "here's Johnny" moment. There was, and then there's a lot of non-horror too. E.T. with Alpha hiding among the stuffed animals. You picked that one up for sure. Several different martial arts movies. I thought immediately of Kill Bill, but the moves they were pulling they're in a bunch of different martial arts movies.
Almost everything in Kill Bill is a tribute to other previous martial art movies.
Exactly, that's what that movie is.
But Kill Bill's the more modern incarnation.
So that's the first thing that popped in my head. There's also the Star Wars.
Yeah, there was a line where someone says "I love you" and there's "I know," but I think it was
they
the guy
reversed
girl.
It. Yeah,
it was the
Tyler,
boyfriend.
the boyfriend.
Yeah, which I love. His screen name was Ty Bro Boy or
something like
that. Anyways, but yeah, he tells his girlfriend, "I love you," and she says, "I know."
And
not cleverly or anything.
No.
It sounds kind of forced.
Right.
But it's still there, and everybody knows
there.
what that is.
And then here's my favorite. So their organization that they make at the end has the acronym F. I don't remember what it stands for, but it's FETCH, and they start calling it fetch. As soon as I heard fetch, I leaned over to him and I go, "Oh my God, they're trying to make fetch happen."
Exactly.
If you don't know what movie that's from, fuck you.
It's totally intentional. I believe it's completely intentional.
It has to be. It has to be.
But the best part, if it is intentional, the best part is they never say anything about making fetch happen.
Nope.
But you realize what they just did. Yep. They made fetch happen.
Yep. I literally leaned over. I was like, "Oh my God, they're trying to make fetch happen."
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that it's too perfect to not be intentional.
Too perfect. And for those who don't know, it's Mean Girls. You should look it up and watch it. It's an amazing movie. Also, Clueless.
But I think, to that I give kudos, whether that was in the script or whether that was an improv.
I have to feel, because it's a male and a female, and I know there are males who love Mean Girls, but I have to feel like Katie had some influence in that here.
Well,
because Katie is the name of Lindsay Lohan's character in Mean Girls, Katie.
Oh, there you go. Very well there. It's settled then. But it makes sense and I'm glad that there was a female writer on this because it's
like it's all 90% female
characters. I mean, when we come up with two guys, I mean, even the sloth is a girl, you know, and then the tour at the end, there's a couple dudes, of course, but
they're not important.
As far as characters, there's the
two main guys,
which is unusual. Most horror movies, there'd be guys sneaking in.
Well, as Barbie proved, women can sell movies.
Yeah, so. It'd be funny if it was a last-minute re-edit.
All right, so here are our overall thoughts of Slotherhouse. I think it was cute and it was fun, and I want that puppet, is what I think.
I like the pacing of the movie. I like the characters, the way they were parodies and kind of spoofs of themselves. I just wish there was more gore in it. Yep. I think that's hurting the movie the biggest.
Yep. As horror fans, that's all we ask for is just give us some blood and gore.
I think it would just help it be more memorable I would remember it better. So.
Yeah, as of the crazy B movies that we've seen this year, I think Cocaine Bear is still my top.
Yeah.
And I think I would even put Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey above this. Again, because there was the gore and the blood.
Yeah, I was telling her that too, because she liked it better than I did. But I think if it came down to right now, as is, and it wasn't a director's cut, I would choose to watch Winnie the Pooh again before I would watch this one. And I think it's because at least there's the gore, and I do genuinely like the story of the Winnie the Pooh movie.
Yep.
So.
I would watch them both.
But
this one would be a palate cleanser because there's no blood and gore.
Exactly. This one I feel like you almost are watching it for the comedy.
Right. You can't this would be one where you're like, come on kids, let's watch a horror movie. Which
fine, that could be good.
I don't think kids would really. I don't know.
No, because
as a kid I wanted the blood and gore too, but I was a messed up kid, so I don't know.
I think you also need the knowledge of what horror is about to understand the parody of this.
Right, because this is very much a parody. That's why there's so many references to other movies, whether horror or non-horror.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely self-aware. The movie's not trying to pass this off as this is a real story. No, they don't care that the sloth can teleport or is inconsistent on its speed because it doesn't matter. That's not what the movie's about.
No,
you're going to watch a killer sloth movie. Okay.
That's what I came there for. This was definitely, you can tell, made by people who love movies, love horror movies, and I don't know, maybe we're just crippled by a studio who wanted a PG-13. I don't know why they made this choice, but...
It's my guess. But otherwise, I say if you're looking for a good time, just go into with the expectations
that it's a PG-13. Because that's what I think made us the most disappointed.
We didn't know.
We didn't know. We thought we were going to go see an R-rated Cocaine Bear type movie.
Yeah.
And it was not.
I mean,
but it didn't. Like I said, it was enjoyable. It was comedy. It made me laugh.
It was definitely a good time.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good time. I don't regret it. We made the day of it.
Yep.
So, all right, guys, that's our review of
Slotherhouse.
And please let us know if you've seen it.
Right.
What you thought of it, and what are your opinions of it, and everything. And do you like sloths?
I love sloths.
Don't have a sloth as a pet, though.
No.
Apparently.
Get fake sloths.
Exactly.
Leave real sloths where they are.
So on that note, I think I've said enough now, taking up too much of your time. I'm gonna shut up.
And I'm gonna go cuddle my sloth over here.
Okay, bye.